Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to be mixing some dough for some focaccia. I found this recipe from one of the YouTubers. I'm going to tag her below the caption once I get the video started and upload it. So first we're going to start with 2 cups of room temperature water. And I pre-measured everything out. Then we are going to add the 2 teaspoons of yeast. All right, yeah, 2 teaspoons of yeast. And we're going to let this, so this is going to sit for 5 minutes. All right, now the yeast is bloomed. I'm going to add 4 cups of flour. So here's 1. This is 2. Okay, I didn't measure it. And then I had pre-measured it, but I wanted to make sure. So we have 4 cups of flour here. We have some salt. It's not a measurement for the salt. Just a splash of salt. So I did like 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to add some olive oil. This is some good olive oil. And then we're just going to mix everything up. And this is going to make like a shaggy, it's going to be a shaggy dough. And it's going to seem like it's too wet, but it's not. I learned my lesson by making this bread. You just got to trust the process and let it hydrate on its own. And this is my Danish dough hook or Danish dough whisk here. And I am using all-purpose flour. In one recipe, she did say bread flour is best, but I don't have any bread flour. And she did say, you know, of course you can use regular flour, but I'm going to do another recipe, and I'm going to use the bread flour. All right, so I'm just going to let this sit covered with some plastic wrap for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and do the first fold. All right, so 30 minutes is up. So what we're going to do now is going to be, let me wet my hands. Wet my hands so the dough is sticky. So what we're going to do is going to be a fold and stretch. We're trying to build gluten in the dough. So I'm going to bring it over and tuck it back into itself. Over, tuck it into itself. And I'm going to do this about 5 times. I know we're just trying to build gluten up in the dough, and we're just gonna keep doing this until it does not want to bounce back. So I'm gonna do this again. You can tell the difference because this dough is sticky, but when you wet your hands, and I do it again so it doesn't stick as much. But as long as you wet your hands, you don't need to add more flour. That was my biggest thing. I kept adding more flour, and my dough was it was like too dense. So I'm gonna do this. I'm going to do one more round, and then I'm going to let it sit for 30 minutes. After that, I'm going to do the fold and tuck method again, another round. I'm going to do it 2 more full times, and then I'm going to sit this in the refrigerator overnight, and we'll come back after that. Alright, y'all, I wanted to come back and just show y'all after all the stretch and folds, this is what the dough should look like. It's jiggly. This is what trust the process looks like when I say don't add any more water, don't add any more flour. Trust the process. So I'm going to set this in the refrigerator overnight. Check it out. Alright, so this is the next day, and this is the dough right out the refrigerator. So now you see the bubbles on top. So all we're going to do now is we're going to pick the dough up, and we're going to do a second proofing. So I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to fold it under itself. So that's all I'm doing. Just picking the dough up and fold it under itself. So what I'm going to do is, the last step for right now is going to proof for 3 hours. I'm going to take some olive oil. I'm supposed to put it on top of here. Well, no, I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to put a lot of olive oil in here because it's going to sit in here. So I'm going to take the dough. On my dough. And we're gonna set it in here. We'll put olive oil on top. And it's a lot of olive oil because it's gonna bake in here anyway. And then we're gonna set this on the countertop for the next 3, maybe 4 hours until it proofs again. And then we'll come back and show you what else we need to do. Alright, so now the dough has risen. Still jiggly. So now we're gonna dimple this. So this is what we're doing. Get a lot of dimples going on. Looks like a lot of oil already, so put a little more on here. I know she uses like a generous amount of oil. And then I'm just gonna get some table salt. I don't have any coarse salt, so I'm just gonna get some salt. I'm gonna take the rosemary and put it on top. A little more. I'm gonna have to use some fresh rosemary once I get to growing again in my garden. And that's it. I'm gonna bake this for about 25 minutes at 400 degrees until it's browning all the way risen. Then I'll show y'all the end results. Alright guys, here's the finished product. The focaccia is out of the oven. It did take like 30 minutes for me completely. As you can see, it's browned all around. It did split a little here, but that's okay. I'm gonna use this for sandwiches anyway. So I'm gonna take this out so it doesn't sog up in here. But I'm gonna set it on this cooling rack and let it cool completely before cutting into it. So I'm gonna put the recipe in the description. So hopefully you guys like this recipe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.